The Thalrex patrol ship, Shadowfang, moved slowly over the smoking planet. Captain Viren stood at the command deck, arms behind his back, eyes fixed on the red sky below. "Another colony burned," said Lieutenant Joran, his voice low. Viren nodded. "Who sent the distress call?" Joran checked the logs. No name, no coordinates. Just one line. "Find a human or run." Viren raised an eyebrow. "Is that a joke?" Joran shook his head. "Came from one of the old relay towers, Colony 47 Gamma." Viren turned away from the screen. "Prepare a landing team." Let's see what scared them so badly. The dropship touched down on cracked ground. Ash floated in the air like snow. Buildings were torn open. Trees were burned down to black sticks. No signs of life. No signs of a fight. The landing team spread out, blasters ready. Joran scanned the air. No movement. No heat signals. "It's like they vanished," said another soldier. Inside the old colony center, the air was still. Tables were flipped, blood smeared the walls, but no bodies. Captain Viren entered behind them and walked slowly through the main hallway. "What happened here?" Sir called one of the techs. "I found a working terminal." Everyone gathered around. The screen blinked to life. A video log was open. "Play it," Viren ordered. The screen showed a group of colonists hiding in a storage room. Their faces were pale. One of them spoke into the camera. "We're under attack. They came from under the ground. We tried to fight, but—" She paused, looking behind her. "They're too strong." Suddenly, the video shook. A loud roar echoed. Screams filled the background. A second video started on its own. This one showed the outside of the colony. A massive black creature, 10 feet tall, with claws like swords, charged across the open field. Behind it, a human man ran forward. No armor, just a rifle and a knife. He jumped on the creature's back and stabbed deep into its neck. The monster screamed. The camera shook again. The man turned his head slightly just before the video cut out. Text flashed on the screen. "He's still out there." Silence filled the room. "Pause the video," Viren said. He stared at the image of the human on the screen. Did he just take down a Draxian war beast, alone? No exosuit, no support. "Just him," Joran whispered. One of the soldiers stepped. "Back, sir. I've read about human ghost units." "But I thought those were myths." Viren shook his head. "I don't believe in myths. I believe in evidence. Find that human." The team moved deeper into the ruins. The ground was cracked, metal twisted. Strange marks were burned into the walls like claw patterns, but smaller. "Sir," a soldier called out. "These look like warnings, some kind of language." Another soldier read aloud from a metal panel near a doorway. "It's not one of us. He's something worse. Don't follow him." Joran looked uneasy. What did that mean? Suddenly, a whisper passed through the air, soft, cold. "He's watching." Everyone froze. "What was that?" Joran asked, spinning around. "Thermal scans picking up something," said the tech. "It's above us. All weapons." Turned up toward the ceiling, nothing. "Wait," said Viren. "Don't shoot. Whatever he is, we might need him." Another whisper came. "It's closer this time, like it was inside the walls. You shouldn't have come." Outside the ruins, the sun began to set. The sky turned deep red. Long shadows stretched across the broken land. Back at the dropship, the pilot tried to contact the team. "Captain? Viren, this is Dropship Echo. Sensors show movement in the ruins. Multiple signals, fast moving. No answer. Captain, come in." The only sound that came through was static. And then a voice. Not Thalrex. A human voice. "Get out now." The ruins were now darker. The red sky had faded into black. Only the soft blue lights of Thalrex armor suits moved through the shadows. Captain Viren checked his communicator again. "Echo ship. Report." No answer. Just static. He tapped his helmet. Something is jamming us. Joran looked uneasy. Sir, we should head back. This place, ... it's wrong. Viren shook his head. We find the human. Then we leave. Behind them, the tech officer stared at the thermal scanner. His hands were shaking. Something's moving. Really fast. No pattern. Too fast to be natural. The scanner suddenly glitched. The screen went black. Then flashed one word: run. They reached the old power station. Its walls were cracked and blackened. A long trail of strange footprints led inside, too small to be the beast they saw in the video, too large to be human. One soldier. Rek stepped forward, following the tracks. He turned the corner. A scream echoed through the station. By the time they reached him, Rek was gone. Just his helmet lay on the floor, split in half. Blood dripped from the ceiling. Joran gasped. We're not alone here. Viren clenched his fists, weapons out. We're being hunted. Outside, the ruins came alive. Cameras turned on by themselves. Broken streetlights flickered. Drones powered up, scanning from the rooftops. The ruins weren't dead. They were watching. Sir, said the tech voice, shaking. Someone reactivated the entire surveillance grid. But not us. Viren looked up. He's tracking us. Who? Viren didn't answer. He didn't have to. Back at the dropship, the co-pilot looked around nervously. Where is everyone? He reached for his blaster. But before he could grab it, a figure dropped silently from above. Human-sized, fast, too fast. The co-pilot never made a sound. When the main team returned, they found the ship empty. Every system was fried. No bodies, just gear scattered around. One screen was still working. A message was written across it. Told you to leave. The team now had no way off the planet. Joran looked at Viren. Sir, request permission. To retreat. We don't even know where he is. Suddenly, something hit Joran's back. Not a bullet, a dart. He fell instantly unconscious. The rest of the soldiers aimed in every direction. Where did it come from? A voice came from the shadows. Calm, human. You ignored the warning. That was your mistake, Viren growled. Show yourself. A flash of movement then. Silence again. The voice spoke once more. I'm not here to kill you yet. I'm here to make sure you never bring the war here again. Suddenly, loud howling filled the air. Not human. Not machine. Dozens of deep growls coming from all around the ruins. The Thalrek soldiers froze. Sir, whispered one of them, those aren't his sounds. That's something else. He wasn't the only one left, Viren whispered back. He stayed behind to guard something. The voice returned. You woke them up. I warned you. Now you run. The walls of the ruins cracked open. From below the surface, monstrous forms began to crawl out. Black skin, red eyes, claws that could cut steel. Draxian war beasts. Dozens of them. The soldiers opened fire. Blasters lit up the ruins, but the beasts didn't stop. They came. Fast, too fast. One soldier was pulled into the darkness, another thrown through a wall. Viren grabbed Joran's unconscious body and shouted, Fall back! The team ran through the ruins, chased by creatures older than war. Above them, watching from a high rooftop, the human stood silently. Helmet on, blade in hand. He whispered to himself, let them learn. The ruins burned behind them. Captain Viren dragged Joran through the narrow alleys of the broken colony. Only 3 Thalrek soldiers were still alive. The others gone. Either torn apart by the beasts or vanished without a trace. Keep moving, Viren shouted. Their blasters were nearly empty. The drones had stopped working. Communications were dead. And above all, they still hadn't seen the human. Not clearly. Only flashes, shadows, whispers. One soldier, Creel, stopped to catch his breath near an old wall. That's when he saw it. A message written in human blood. The last survivor is not who you think. Inside an abandoned shelter, Viren sealed the metal doors and set up a weak energy field. It wouldn't hold long, but they needed rest. He turned to the tech officer, Larek. Status Larek's hands were shaking. We have 14 minutes of oxygen in the suits, less if we keep running. And weapons. One full clip between us. That's it. Viren stared at the flickering screen in the shelter's corner. Static. Then suddenly, it showed a frozen image. A lone human sitting on a throne made of alien bones. Larek stepped back. That's him. The one from the footage. Viren narrowed his eyes. No, that's someone else. Suddenly, a voice came from the shelter's intercom. I was the first colonist here. The others died protecting this planet. They ran when the Zyrex came. I didn't. Viren looked at the speaker. Who are you? The voice replied, calm and cold. I'm the reason this world still breathes. I didn't run. I adapted. At that moment, the lights cut out. Red emergency lamps flickered. Creel pulled out his weapon. Something's outside. Then came the knock, slow, heavy, from the other side of the steel door. Boom, 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 the tech officer whispered. That's not the human. The knocking stopped. Then, a deep, beast-like growl. Viren motioned everyone to step back. Prepare to fire. But the door didn't open. Instead, it peeled away, cleanly sliced as if by a blade made of pure energy. Through the smoke stepped a figure, tall, armored human. Ah! But his eyes were not fully human anymore. They glowed. The soldiers pointed their weapons. The figure didn't flinch. He looked at them calmly, as if studying animals behind glass. Your kind destroyed 3 colonies before this one, he said. You thought we would always run. He raised his hand not to attack but to reveal a mark on his palm. The Thalrex Imperial Code burned into his skin. I was a prisoner. You left me here. Larek gasped. You were one of ours? The human nodded. I was human. You turned me into something else? He stepped forward. This planet didn't just hide me. It trained me. Every day I fought to survive. And when I was ready, I hunted the monsters your empire created. He looked down at Joran, still unconscious. He's not dead. Not yet. Viren stepped forward. Why haven't you killed us? The figure stared at him. It's because you need to deliver a message. He tossed a small black cube at Viren's feet. Take that to your commanders. Show them what happens when you bring war to Earths. Doorstep Viren looked at the cube. What's on it? The human's eyes narrowed. Proof that humans don't run anymore. Suddenly, alarms rang out in the shelter. The beasts had returned. The ground shook. Viren turned to the human. You'll never escape this place. The human smirked. Escape. I'm not leaving. He stepped into the smoke, blade drawn. I'll cover your retreat. But next time you send ships here, I won't show mercy. The Thalrex soldiers didn't wait. They carried Joran and ran through the escape hatch in the floor. As they climbed into the ancient tunnel system, they heard the sounds behind them, screams of beasts, metal crashing, and the steady steps of the last survivor. Cliffhanger, as Viren reaches the extraction point, he opens the black cube. A hologram lights up. The human stands beside a burning Thalrex warcruiser, one that had disappeared months ago. This wasn't your first visit, but it will be. Your last. The Thalrex ship broke through the upper clouds of the dead colony world. Smoke still rose below, and no life signs remained except the one they had seen. Captain Viren sat alone in the command chair. His hands trembled slightly as he held the black cube. Round him, no one spoke. The remaining crew were silent, haunted by what they had witnessed. Played again, Viren said. The cube glowed. Projection appeared. The human they met, standing atop the wreck of a Thalrex warcruiser. A cruiser that had vanished in deep space a year ago. This ship tried to invade Earth. The human's voice said calmly. It didn't make it back. Back in the ship's secure war room, Viren activated the long-range transmission. High Command needed to see this. Within minutes. 3. Faces appeared on the holographic screen: Fleet Admiral Corrin, Director Mile from the Science Division, and the cold, sharp-eyed Chancellor Vec. Viren stood. "We found something," he began. Or rather, someone. He placed the cube in the slot. The message played. No one interrupted. Even Chancellor Vec remained silent as the human finished his warning. "You believed humans were scattered, weak, alone. But you didn't look close enough. We don't run. We evolve. We wait. We strike." The projection ended. Admiral Corrin spoke first. "That ship, wasn't it reported destroyed by pirates?" Viren shook his head. "No pirates did this. He took it. Alone." The science director leaned in. "His biology, was he enhanced? Genetically modified?" Viren's voice was low. "I don't think so. It was just ... changed. By what he survived, by what we did." Vex spoke last. "You said he let you go? Why?" Viren looked directly into the camera. "He wanted us to be afraid." Meanwhile, back on the colony planet, deep underground, the last human walked through tunnels filled with relics. Old Earth tech, alien bones, symbols from dozens of species, all painted over with a single word: remember. He wasn't alone anymore. Small drones hovered above him, built from pieces of Thalrex machinery. Machines he'd reprogrammed, rebuilt. They followed his every move. A voice echoed in his helmet. Signal confirmed. They received the cube. He smiled. "Good. The next phase begins." Back on the Thalrex homeworld, things moved quickly. Panic spread in military halls. News of a human superweapon leaked into command circles. But the truth was even worse. It wasn't a weapon. It was a man, and he wasn't hiding anymore. Some believed he was the last human on that world. Others feared he was just the first of many. In a secret Thalrex lab, Director Mile watched. Old files, long-forgotten records of Earth's early wars: World War II, Vietnam, Mars Colony Rebellion. Again and again, humans had been outnumbered, outmatched, and yet again and again they survived, adapted, overcame. Mile whispered to herself. "We didn't understand what we woke up." On the Thalrex capital, Chancellor Vec made her move. She activated Project Silence, a Black Ops mission meant to wipe out all hidden Earth colonies. No warnings, no diplomacy, just elimination. Before they unite, she told her generals, "We strike." But it was already too late. At the edge of Thalrex space, dozens of hidden beacons lit up human sleeper agents, long silent, now activated. One spoke into his communicator. "The signal has been sent. The survivors are coming home." Cliffhanger. Back on the burning world, the human survivor steps onto a launch platform made of Thalrex bones. A ship rises, not Thalrex design. Something older, human. He looks to the stars. "Now they remember us." And with that, he vanishes into the black sky. Captain Viren stared at the empty space where the human ship had disappeared. His crew was still silent. Cube's message echoed in his mind. "You didn't look close enough." Thalrex thought they had seen everything in the galaxy. But this changed everything. He turned to his second-in-command. "Jorok, send word to the nearest patrol fleets. Tell them to watch the borders. The humans are waking up." Jorok nodded, but said nothing. He looked pale. He had seen the human up close. He had seen what one human could do. What if there were more? Far away in deep space. A quiet asteroid belt began to hum. One by one, hidden bunkers opened. Inside, cryopods lit up. Humans, frozen for over 100 years, slowly came back to life. Their eyes opened. They didn't panic. They remembered everything. One by one, they stepped out of the pods. Their armor clicked into place. Their old Earth tattoos still marked their skin. Never again. A tall woman stood at the center of the awakening. Commander Riva. Status report, she ordered. A drone floated beside her. Thalrex invasion failed. One of our sent. The signal. It's time. Riva smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. Then let's finish what they started. On the Thalrex capital planet, panic had started. Chancellor Vec tried to calm the council. We have the strongest military in 3 sectors. We've crushed entire species before. But her words fell flat, 'cause for the first time they weren't fighting a new enemy. They were fighting the ghosts of the past. Our senator whispered. What if the humans never disappeared? What if they were waiting? No one answered. Because somewhere deep down, they all felt the same thing. Fear. Meanwhile, Commander Riva's fleet left the asteroid belt. Their ships were old, Earth tech from the first contact war, but now rebuilt with alien parts. They were faster, stronger, smarter. At the center of the fleet was a large carrier, the EA's Vengeance. Inside its war room, Riva stared at the star map. Dozens of human sleeper fleets were activating across the galaxy. She pointed to the heart of Thalrex space. We don't hit their borders, she said. We hit their throne. Back on Captain Viren's ship. He tried to warn command again, but the signal jammed. Static filled the screen. Then a strange sound broke through. Not a voice, but a pulse, repeating beat. Like a heart or a war drum. Jorak leaned in. What is that? Viren whispered a message. The signal cleared just enough to show a word carved in static. Awakened. On a desert moon near the Thalrex mining colonies, miners started vanishing, first in ones, then in groups. At night, strange lights appeared in the sky. One survivor was found mad, shivering, eyes wide. He only repeated one sentence, they walk among us again. Across the galaxy, stories began to spread. Of ships that didn't respond to hails but destroyed anything in their path. Of humans with silver eyes and memories of 10 wars. Of old Earth satellites that suddenly powered up, scanning every planet in Thalrex territory. At first, the Thalrex thought it was propaganda. Until those ships arrived at their borders. Until planets went dark. Until no one came back. In the deep black, the human survivor from the colony, the one who started it all, sat in silence aboard his ship. He had no name anymore. He had burned it long ago. He spoke only to the AI inside his helm. Did they receive the message? The AI replied, yes, they remember. He looked out the window. In the distance, the EA's Vengeance moved like a ghost through space. He smiled. It's time. Cliffhanger Chancellor Vec stood in her private chamber staring at an old photo. A human man shaking hands with Thalrex leaders. It was taken before the war, before the betrayal. Touched the glass. We should have kept the peace. Suddenly, the power cut out. Her guards shouted, then screamed. A figure stepped out of the shadows, human, alive, and angry. The final memory, the lights flickered. Chancellor Vec stepped back slowly as the human soldier moved closer in the dark. He wore no armor. His face was calm, but his eyes cold. Silver, ancient, said everything. The Thalrex guards aimed their weapons. Don't, Vec ordered. He came alone. The human stopped just a few steps away. You remember me? He said quietly. Vec nodded. I do. You were there when the treaty broke? The human gave a small nod. You said we were dangerous, that we couldn't be trusted. You burned 3 of our colonies, she replied. Without warning, you invaded our sky, he said. We warned you, over and over. We asked for peace. You wanted control. A pause. The room was silent. Then the human said, we didn't disappear. We simply remembered. On the EA's Vengeance, Commander Riva prepared for the jump to the Thalrex capital system. Ships aligned, her crew reported. She looked at the screen. One red dot, the capital. We don't destroy them, she said. We remind them. The fleet moved forward like a storm. Back in the chamber, Chancellor Vex sat across from the human. No guards, no weapons. Just two leaders, separated by war and history. Why? Come now, she asked. The human answered, because the galaxy forgot who we were. Vex said they feared you. He leaned forward. They should have. But then his voice softened. We didn't wake for revenge. We woke because we saw the signs again. Vex blinked. What signs? He tapped the table gently. Rising empires, broken treaties, alien races used as tools. We've seen this before. In deep space, near the Thalrex border, a small Thalrex scout ship spotted the human fleet. It sent a warning, then tried to flee. It's too late. The Vengeance disabled its engines but didn't destroy the ship. Instead, it transmitted an old Earth message. We do not conquer, but we remember everything. Chancellor Vex poured 2 glasses of water, a gesture of peace. Do you think war is coming again? She asked. The human nodded. Not from us. But yes, it's coming. The Xyrix Empire. Others like them. Hungry, fast, dangerous. He paused. But humans, we adapt. He slid a small drive across the table. Everything you need to survive the next war. Our data, our plans, our past. She stared at the drive. Why share this? He stood up. Because long ago, we believed we could trust you. He turned toward the door. If you break that trust again, we won't be hiding next time. At the same moment, Commander, Riva's fleet dropped out of hyperspace just outside the Thalrex capital system. Sirens rang across the planet. Thalrex defense ships scrambled. Then paused because the human fleet didn't fire. Instead, it stopped in perfect formation and sent a message, not in code, but in clear spoken Thalrex language. We are not your enemies, but we remember how this ends. Chancellor Vex stepped onto the council floor. Every senator stood silent. She raised the drive the human had given her. This is everything. Their history, their warnings, their pain. One senator asked, "What should we do?" Vex said, "We listen, and we choose peace." On a quiet moon, the human survivor stood in the ruins of the first colony. Its mission was complete, but his voice still carried weight. He activated a signal beacon and whispered into the stars, "We've shown them who we are. Now let's see who they become." Final scene, across the galaxy. Other races began to speak again of Earth, of the humans who fought monsters, who disappeared, who returned without a sound but with power. Stories spread. Some told tales of human rage, others spoke of human mercy, but all agreed on one thing. In crisis, find a human. Or run fast the other way. The end.